Hello and welcome to Future Proof, the Cincinnati State podcast, where we interview our very talented and successful alumni. I'm Jane Martin Dressing, a co-op and internship coordinator in humanities, and
I'm Amy Donbar. Good morning.
we are back. We are back.
Everybody.
We
Oh,
are.
look, we're on
Yeah, we
film.
are. We are being filmed today. We have had. I think we figured out this morning that we are about 17 episodes total or more.
Yeah,
Or
17 have been
17
posted.
episodes.
Yeah.
And they have all been exciting
Mhm.
and hilarious and just people sharing their journey. And we have no shortage of amazing stories to share on this
No.
podcast. And today's guest is no exception to the rule.
Girl, she has come in. We are we've got and we have an incredible audiovisual department here at Cincinnati State. Mike Tacolvi oversees the students and he's amazing in helping them edit. And we have all this equipment and we're in a studio in 459. But then Metri comes in. We got ring lights, and Mike was helping her set up her equipment. She's got QR codes on her T-shirt. I cannot wait to get into this.
We are going to get into this. So we are so delighted to have our guest, Jemetria Mabrey, who goes by Metri.
Yeah.
And she is the founder and CEO of the Joy Air Foundation.
Yes.
And a very esteemed alumni of Cincinnati State from 2003, and has really just had an incredible journey and life story. And I'm telling you, I'm reading her bio and, getting all of these accomplishments in your teenage years and your black belt by 16 or 17. And so listen, folks, you may not be able to see this. Now, Metri can tell you where you're going to be able to see it on her channel, but we're going to get into some stuff today because she is also a certified Zumba instructor and spoken word and the band, and it's on. Okay,
I'm already behind in my job today. Like
no,
I'm like,
no.
I think I was working at Kings Island when she was like getting a black.
Yes.
All right. Well, let's go back. Like,
Tell us.
Right. I mean, it sounds like we normally go back and be like, our first question, which we'll get to, is how do you get to Cincinnati State, and we'll get there.
Okay.
But it sounds like we need to go back a little further. Tell us about, sort of your upbringing and where you came from, and sort of,
All right, sounds good. First of all, I'd like to say thank you, ladies, for having me on Future Proof Podcast. All right. Whoa. See state. I'm back, baby. Yeah. Let's do this. Okay, so actually, this is Metri, your host of Getting to Know Talk Show. It comes on every Wednesday at 1 p.m., 88.3 FM. You can also view us on Alta Fiber and Spectrum Channel 8, Alta Fiber Channel 803. If you want to know how to get the schedule, just hit me up at 513-806-5649. That is the Getting to Know phone. Now, I just wanted to drop that one time, make sure they know how to get to us and start this collaboration.
Do you?
All right.
We're all good.
We'll have all of this information too on our Instagram if you follow us on Instagram, and we've got some YouTube going out there. I don't even know all the things because there's so many places to put information.
Oh yeah, there really is. We're everywhere.
Or you can just call us.
We're like Visa. We're everywhere you want to be.
That part. No. We're American Express. We top notch platinum. This is state, baby.
Okay.
Gotta represent.
Okay.
That part. Okay.
Listeners, she is wearing green pants today.
Oh, yeah.
Did you see these pants? Yes. Okay.
I think those are right on brand.
They are
right on
that
brand.
part right there.
Girl.
All right.
Getting in the know. We want to get in the know about
me as a little type.
Yeah. And then we're going to get in the know about the show.
Yeah.
She got her little dance moves. I'm like, yeah. All right. So, Metri, I am the last of the Mohicans in the lineup between my parents, mother and father. I grew up in the Walnut Hills area. I'm from Cincinnati, Ohio. I grew up in the same house for the first 18 years of my life. So it was definitely a lot of stability in the community at that time in Walnut Hills. And I was afforded the opportunity to go to an elementary school that was beginning to integrate education at that
Yeah.
time. So that exposed me to.
Oh, wow.
We was
Okay.
the first class that took French. We was that was in kindergarten,
Wow.
and then we also got exposed to the metric system. So we just didn't do the imperial system. So
Oh,
it was awesome. I
yeah.
mean, I didn't even realize how much we were being given until I got older.
I didn't even realize what those things are. She's real smart, you guys.
Yeah,
And
we're trying to keep
I
up.
don't know
Don't
all
do
the
it.
No,
things.
we're trying to
Okay,
keep
so
up.
just keep talking about systems, okay?
Okay.
So you,
Okay. All right. So um, after that, at 9 years old, I would say, my parents wanted to have me be very diverse and exposed to just more than what here was here locally. So they started sending me around the world. And my first biggest trip was to Europe. I stayed a summer in Europe. And I stayed in Copenhagen, Denmark. I went to Paris, France, London, England, Scotland. I toured all around that little area of Europe, and I was exposed to diversity. So when I came back,
Wow.
yes,
Wow.
and I was 9 at the time.
Nice.
So that was my first,
Who took you,
my
Mom?
aunt, my great aunt.
Okay.
Yes, my great aunt took me out to her method of travel. She traveled every year, so she picked a kid to take, and I got the Europe trip. Okay, yeah,
yeah.
yeah, and it really it fueled my love of chocolate. So
Oh,
Oh,
it is. I'm a chocoholic.
I think Easter fueled my love of chocolate. Okay.
That part
All
right
right.
there.
So you had the real deal. You came
Yes.
back and you were like, don't give me this Hershey's.
Yeah, no, I had Swiss
Oh.
chocolate and all. Yeah, I don't need no Nestle Squick hot chocolate. They can't
Mm-mm.
compete with Denmark at all.
Yeah.
The
No.
pastries, yeah, I'm an addict now of sweets.
Oh,
Okay.
so your parents really believed in this kind of exposure, and
Mhm.
okay, yeah.
Definitely, they did. It was key and paramount. So at 9, I came back home, and I was like in the fourth, going to the fifth grade by that time, and it is part of the way to the journey to my black belt because I actually started karate when I was 4.
Okay.
So by the time I matured and understood the art and um, understood that it's not a toy, it's something for discipline. That's when I got to 16, and that's when I actually got the first level of my black belt. So you can go up levels. Then once you get your black belt, you need first degree, second degree, and I think it
Right.
goes up to sixth degree. So in the interim between that part, I was also a part of C cadets. Now, if you think ROTC
Okay,
for the college level uh, officers in the
okay.
military.
This is a cadet program for like younger, like.
Like,
Okay,
yeah, you got it right.
okay,
But I'm gonna explain what C cadets is versus ROTC.
okay.
So ROTC would be for people or children that want to go and be officers in the military.
Okay.
So C cadets was the enlisted side of that.
Okay.
And so I went to Sea Cadets, and that's a part of the Navy. And we have a base over here. What is that? Gilbert Avenue, right down below the
Oh, okay.
cemetery over there. They trained us at that base. We went and did boot camp up in Great Mistakes, but it's really called Great Lakes. But just to run a joke in the
Mistakes.
military.
Oh my god.
Yes, and that I started that at 13, and that was running in conjunction with my karate, and also I was at Cincinnati Academy of Physical Education for my athletic ability. So my parents poured into me a lot.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow. I mean, how many of there were you sibling wise? Because
It's 8 of us.
Wow.
Yes.
did you
And you're
get
the
all
youngest.
the attention, or did everybody get this much?
I think I got more attention because when I was born, like my older brothers and sisters, I went to school with their children. So,
Oh,
yeah.
you were a big at the end. And
Yeah.
you just were like, okay.
Yeah, my mom told me she thought I was a bladder infection. So.
Oh my god.
I say this is one
Okay.
HE double hockey stick bladder infection.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yes.
Penicillin didn't take care
Oh
of
my
it.
god, this is hilarious.
Wow.
But you also clearly were person
Yeah.
from early on. That's
Yes.
what we've discovered. And you just one thing after another, and there was no stopping you. So
Oh,
yeah.
No, go ahead. What were you saying?
well, I like to share something. Since we back in my early teens, maybe going up to my 20s now. Um, it was things about me I didn't know back then. I didn't understand. And now that I'm 54, I'm transparent. I'm happy to be 54. Back then, I just realized that I was probably in a manic bipolar stage all of that time in my life, and I was extremely productive
Okay.
and did not know I was there
Yeah.
because I'm diagnosed with bipolar.
Okay.
So, and I got bipolar. Bipolar don't got me. I use my manic states to be productive.
Mm-hmm.
Repurpose that energy, but you got to be careful because you can crash, boom, bang. But I like to share that because I like to get through. I like to do peer-to-peer counseling. I'm about to get certified with the state of Ohio to do peer recovery supporter. But I just wanted to throw that out there because I often wonder, like, how in the heck did I accomplish all of these things?
Right.
You know, what was the driving force? I've always been a go-getter. Then my older brothers and sisters would tell me that I was just overachiever. Like you always wanted to sit there and read the book. You wanted to do the math questions, and so I went on this journey of self discovery to see what, how did I get there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you were able to get to a point in your life where you looked back once you knew all these things and like this explains a lot. Like I just had this curiosity and this drive and this energy that other people didn't have, and that's probably why your parents put a lot into you because they were like, we got to keep this person busy. We got to keep this
That
person,
part.
doing
Yes.
stuff.
Yes. Yeah, occupy my time because I was
You were chewing it up and spitting it out.
that
Right.
part.
So, how did you come to Cincinnati State?
All right, let's fast forward to that. Now we're talking about 25 years old.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
When I initially enrolled, that was back in 1995 after I had gotten out the military.
Okay.
And
She went in the military.
So you did go. Sorry. So you did go into the military
mhm,
after the training that you were involved in as a child. Okay.
yes, I
Did
went.
you travel? Did you get to go to different countries?
No, I stayed in this country because my brother was already dispatched to Desert Storm,
Okay, right.
and
Right, that was early 90s.
mhm, and my mom she pulled what is known as the Act of Congress, so I didn't have to go to that war too. Two siblings can't be in the
Oh,
same
they
war.
cannot.
Yes.
Wonderful.
Yes.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
I've been on ships like just around the like Norfolk because that's where I was stationed, but I've never been to war.
Okay.
So but what was
No, I said so. You got the Cincinnati State. How
Oh,
did you
yeah,
get
yeah,
here?
yeah. Okay.
So you had is it called GI Bill? when
GI
you were
Bill.
a baby? Is it still GI Bill?
GI Bill that pays for education.
Okay.
Were you on the GI Bill for higher education?
I didn't use the GI Bill at that particular time. I went under the Pell Grant
Okay.
section of it. Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
So and actually I might treat myself to using my GI Bill because I was thinking about going back to get some education and more of the counseling type field. But we'll get to that because I want to
Okay.
go back to what she said.
All
I'm
right.
so excited.
No. We'll get to all the things. Yeah.
Awesome.
So get to Cincinnati State.
Okay, so Cincinnati State. I initially came here for accounting, managerial accounting.
Okay.
Because I love numbers, I love algebra, right? And I'm thinking like, okay, this is the natural way to go. I didn't do my research. Accounting has nothing to do. It's about managing where the accounting for the money.
Yeah.
It wasn't so much of the math.
No, it's a
Desire.
language.
Yeah.
It's a whole language.
That
It's really
part.
a language. Yes.
Mhm.
And you were like, no, I'm not studying the language of accounting.
No, and I stayed in it a long time.
It's okay.
Yeah,
It's
so
okay. You're not a quitter.
no,
She is not a quitter.
no.
Not a quitter.
So I at that time my daughter it was when I initially started was 7. What you have to appreciate about her is she was differently able, and she had hmm she was they considered her LD. I just told her she learned different, so she had yep, and she had an IEP throughout her all her education. That was important to me because her education would be to tell her to how she learned, but she also was a lot to manage at the time,
Mhm.
and I kind of dropped out, withdrew, and I might have been here by
Stopped out. We call it stopped out.
stopped out.
Nobody dropped out. They
I
stopped
like
out.
that, stopped
Mhm.
out. So I stopped out, and I think I went from 95 to 96, stopped out, and then came back towards the early 2000s because I graduated in 2003. So it took me a while to get the degree because of my family life. But on that journey when I came back, now we on the, when I came back, I dabbled for a minute in accounting, but then I was like, what can I do that all these classes I already took
Right.
would be
Yeah.
applicable
Right.
to something else. So I was like, well, if you have anything in life, like in business, if you want to be an entrepreneur or anything, you need to know how to run the business.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, I think I'll take business management.
Okay.
So by this time, my daughter is like early teens, like
Mhm.
12, 13, something like that. So now, she's really smelling herself, giving
Mhm.
me,
Mhm.
a
Oh
hard
yeah.
time. Yeah. So I stayed the course with my curriculum. I had to manage her at the same
We
time.
had these co-ops on campus too. I
Yeah.
love this the story of that you share with me that um, she'd be working and get these calls from
Mhm.
the school, like, you got to come and get your child. And her
Mhm.
boss was so supportive. And
Did
um,
we ever find out his name? Because I almost
no,
swear.
but I will. I will. It was a guy who worked in financial aid for years and retired from financial aid.
Okay.
And he was her boss, and he was older when she started, and just was so supportive. And she said she didn't always perform at her best, but Cincinnati State did not give up on her.
That
Did not
part.
give up on her.
Oh yeah.
Not at all. And sharing that story with you yesterday, it was a lullaby when I went to sleep last night because,
No.
yes, I tell you, the best way I can put it is like this: walk with me through all life's adventures, experiencing the impact of defeat and the rejoice of pleasure. For as long as we are on this walk united, we will always walk through it guided. Now, I'm going to humble myself, inviting you all, see state to walk with me,
Mm.
bonding with me, making us weak. Now, side by side, we will walk together and doing all life's unpredictable weather. I'm glad to see State join me on that lifelong walk. They spoke their wisdom, and I was eager to hear y'all talk. Share with me y'all minds, y'all hearts, and y'all thoughts. I'm y'all best friend. I'm y'all encourager, and I'm glad that I'm here talking today on
Mhm.
Exit State.
That was
Yeah.
girl. That was beautiful,
Something
Thank you.
Metri. That was absolutely. We are.
Bloop.
We are.
Mhm.
We are honored
Yeah.
that you're telling your story with us today. That's why Jane probably told you that's how this podcast started. Is that we've just been so blessed to hear others' journeys along the way. And the other part that we've witnessed is people saying what you've said. Cincinnati State did not give up on me. It's had different names, it's had different people involved, but there were people always extending an arm, always like, stay in this,
Always.
keep with this. And that's been the story of this podcast. And so I'm so glad you're here.
I'm so glad that I'm here too.
So that story that you shared with Jane yesterday, that story, tell us a little bit about what that meant to you, because I think our listeners would benefit from hearing that.
Yes, 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 yes. Okay. What that meant to me, at that time in my life, I was not the best student that I could be. Um, Everything was just juggled. I mean, just thinking back with my daughter and everything, and see, state played a role that was compassionate to my heart. I first started out, actually, I started out in the bookstore under the federal work study
Yeah.
program.
Yep. Yep.
Then eventually I had to go to the co-op. So I started co-oping in the cashier's office. Now the
Mm-hmm.
cashier's office is a lot more busier and upbeat and going faster than the financial aid. I don't know how it's set up now, but cashier was right here and you went in the door to the financial aid section. I'm going down memory lane
Yeah.
right
Yeah.
Yeah.
now. So at the time, it was so much going on in the cashier's office. I kept getting so many phone calls about my daughter, and it was pre-cell phone era,
Yeah.
and I had to
Oh,
go home. I mean, go get her from
yeah.
extracurricular or wherever she was. And the gentleman, we're gonna find his name, he suggested, encouraged, and made sure it happened for me to switch positions and come over there to the financial aid side and start working from that point because it was more flexible. It
Mhm.
wasn't on as much on demand because you're just basically processing the paperwork, filing it, and stuff like that. You're not at the window taking
Yeah.
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 so with that, that was a huge help. I had professors that would give me like extra time, like take the incomplete, don't take the withdrawal, because if you do, then it's gonna take away from your aid.
Yeah.
And at the time I wasn't even, because you asked me about my GI Bill. I'm gonna tell you the truth about that. Transparently, you would not believe how many students come to school to get the financial resources from borrowing the money. At that time, it was before the 2-year colleges
Mm-hmm.
were only being with the Pell Grant. It was a lot of predatory lending going on.
Yeah.
And so people, as a way to survive, they're using that student loan money to pay bills, feed their family, fix their car. But this is just a reality.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to share with you guys that, because these students could be facing this.
Oh, yeah.
So, and the gentleman from financial aid and everybody else there too, but he really was the one that really made it go through,
Mm-hmm.
and it meant so much. You don't know how you start to feel. I was a real good achiever in my life, but now I have a child who was completely the opposite of me.
Hmm.
That's hard. Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And her father went to the army. So he's in Kuwait. We are not together. So she is a military brat, double. But it was left
Hmm.
upon me to take care of her. All day he gave child support. You just left her and
Mm-hmm.
didn't have anything to
Yeah.
do with
And your energy level is, I'm ready to achieve, I'm ready to
it.
go, but you have to slow your pace down to parent, and
That
you're ready
part.
to soar, and it's hard. And when you have
Hmm.
a child that needs a lot more attention and support, and it was like this big, almost
Feeling
like
around
journey
in
and lesson that
That
you were
part.
learning about that,
it's feeling around. I mean, they say it's hard to raise the child that's like you, right?
Hmm.
But it's also hard to raise a child that is not at all like you. It's like feeling around in the dark. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Because when
Yeah.
you're
I like
parenting
that.
the child that's like you're like, oh, these are the things that I use to overcome. So let
Hmm.
me teach that child this things or these strategies work. But the one that's not like you, you're like, what am
Who
I
are
supposed? How
you?
am I?
Yeah,
Give
like,
me the playbook.
hmm
Tell me,
yeah,
right?
exactly.
Yeah,
I wish being a parent came with a playbook for real.
all of them.
Like we
Yeah.
need
We
some
take one.
NFL stats or something
Yeah,
for it. Yeah.
anything. A book. You
Yeah.
know, when they sent you home at the hospital, you're like, what?
What?
You,
This,
like,
but this my
it took
responsibility.
more to get my driver's license than it did to take this child up
Preach.
from the,
Preach.
like, no, there's no test. There's no,
Yeah.
like, you're really going to let me walk out with this
Right.
baby.
Yes.
All right.
Can I get some notes or
Yeah,
something?
like a
Yeah.
little. So, that's what, you brought up something that I really love when you talked about yourself and you talked about your daughter and, with your individual diagnosis, you've talked about it as a gift and you taught your daughter it was a gift. And that was a long time ago before society used languages like persons with. Do you know what
Hmm.
I mean? Like we
Hmm.
have old language and we have old stigmas. And so how did you know to, hey, what I have is a gift and I'm going to run with it and I'm going to teach my daughter that it's a gift too. What inside of you?
What inside of me? I bond with energy, and having that gift, I had to figure out where to put the energy. I had choices. I watched people around me, and I watched the choices that they made and how they placed their energy, and I watched the result that they got,
Mm.
and then I watched how it affected ones that were close to them that loved them. So for me, once I started figuring out, like, okay, because I started counseling myself when I was first time when I was 12.
Wow.
So I started learning more about me, plus the fact that I grew up in such a disciplined manner with karate and Sikh cadets.
Mhm.
it helped me
Yeah.
to begin that journey of self discovery.
Yeah.
Now it started there,
Mm-hmm.
but it matured.
Okay.
So learning about energy, I could take this extra energy, I could be destructive with it. Like like you spoke to the old language of mental health. Like when I was in school, they are children that struggle with behavior or learning. They were all grouped into
Yeah.
one group,
Yeah.
and I think it was ESOL or something like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
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 So I'm looking at that in the schools and stuff. Now I was the opposite of that because I excelled. I graduated high school a year early and everything.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to look at that to wrap it all up, put it in a nice bowl.